increase. So this award lets me know that good morning, bonjour, comment ça va? Et toi? Ça va très bien. Je suis très heureux. Ni hao, hola, bienvenue, wan ying, bienvenidos, bienvenita, namaste, and welcome. Welcome to another exciting episode of Gem Hunter Stories. My name is Barry B. Mixon, and I am a Gemmological Storyteller. And each and every week, I get the unique and distinguished honor of taking you on an adventure. To places you've never been before, to hear stories you've never heard before. What I do each week on this show is I take the art, science, history, and magic of gemstones, precious metals, and fine jewelry, and I put it all together into a story. I take the same concepts and the same technological traits and chemical traits that you find in gemstones and precious metals, and I use them as a template, as an inception point, as a bridge to help people, to empower people, to remind people, to take time to discover the value of your story, the things that make you unique, the way you interact with the light. Thank you, Barbara. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is January 31st, the last day of the first month of the brand new year. And I was thinking about that. This is just 31 days ago. We were all celebrating, toasting, Happy New Year, bon anniversary, and we all had plans and dreams and hopes and things that we were going to do this year. This was going to be the year. Now, I understand. We've said that for a long time. I live in Chicago. I know what that feels like as far as our sports teams. But as far as ourselves, we every year we reset the clock, at least in our minds, spiritually, mentally, physically. We decide to start working out. We decide to start drinking green tea on a consistent basis, things that and eating right, taking better care of our friends and their family. So I was thinking, and let's be honest, it's hard. It's a hard task. I've been around this earth for 63 years, and it's hard to make those changes. But I wanted to give you a different way of looking at it, a different way of maybe approaching this. Because when you really think about it, the whole history of mankind revolves around gemstones. And when I say the whole history, I'm not talking about just African history or European history from this century to this century, or Asian history, Australian history, South American history. I'm talking, good morning, Marie. I'm talking about history of mankind revolves around gemstones and precious metals. What is always this symbol, this is the symbol of my company, the Gem Hunter. Rubies, emeralds, sapphires, citrine, which is quartz, diamonds and gold. The whole history of everything we've done, continents have been discovered. Civilizations have prospered. Civilizations have been destroyed because of gemstones. And what always comes to my mind is why? Why? Of all the things that we disagree with as human beings, and we know we have constant wars, constant strifes, constant political, the one thing that we all agree upon is gemstones. So what if we can, I believe that we can use that. We can use that knowledge. Think about it. Something so powerful that someone in China can have the same feelings about a gemstone that they live in Arizona. The people that live in Peru can identify with the same feelings that the people in Spain had, not just this year, but centuries ago. We can use that power. We can use that power for ourselves every day. We have to first understand the difference. When we get to understand the difference between a rock, this is a rock. It's a nice looking rock. It'd be a good rock to throw, but basically it's a rock. Once we begin to understand the difference between this and a gemstone. This is a gemstone. Looks a lot like the rock, but this is a gemstone. Once we understand the difference of that, we can use that. We can use that concept. Here's another black gemstone. It's a nice black gemstone. Has a nice shape to it. But how can we, so what's the difference between this and this? This is a rock. This is a black diamond. When we begin to understand the difference between the two, when we understand it on not just a scientific level, but on a metaphysical level, when we put those things together and understand the difference between the two, we can use that. We can use that in our lives, in who you are, in the way you approach this brand new year. We got 11 more months. Sorry, nine more months. We got 11. When you get older, a year is only 6 months. My grandmother used to tell me that. But we got 11 more months. Today, 11 more months in one day to change our life. And the thing that brings it all together is a story. And I know I talk about stories every week. I talk about three things. Gemstones, stories, and value. That's the power of it, that we can change. We can change what we want to do. Once we understand the power of stories, it can change your life forever. It can change the way you think. It can change how whatever happened before, your antagonist, the obstacle, the thing you had to overcome. When you understand that you ultimately are in control of the story, then you can begin to manifest that within yourself. Remember in the book, and as a man thinketh, it says, very soon so altered has his mind become. He didn't say he got the homeboy hookup. He didn't get the lottery. His mind changed. Very soon so altered has his mind become that the workshop can no longer hold him. Where you work, where you live, the relationship that you're in, the situation that you're in can no longer hold you. It has become so out of harmony with your mentality that it falls out of your life as a garment. It's cast aside. And with the growth of opportunity which fit the scope of your expanding powers, you pass out of it forever. All those words really can be put into one word. It's a story. Once you begin to tell the story in your head, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to get that new job. I want this relationship and this marriage to work. I want my kid, my son, my daughter to do well in school. Once you begin to tell that story in your head over and over and over and over and again, what I always say is it may not happen when you want it to happen. It may not happen next Tuesday. That job that you want, maybe it happened, maybe. But if you begin to believe in the story, the way it feels, the way it manifests in your head every time you think about what you're going to look like when you do whatever you're going to do to you, how you're going to have more energy, how you're going to, your skin is going to be smoother. You're going to look more vibrant, not necessarily younger, but just more vibrant because you've changed the story. And it works for, and what I want you to understand is it works for all gemstones. Every last gemstone, diamond, tanzanite. What is tanzanite? Tanzanite is a gemstone, excuse me. Tanzanite is a gemstone that when you look at it, depending on the direction that you're looking at it changes the color. Some of you understand that it's called multitasking. It's called multitasking. Ladies who also have children, also are married or in a relationship with someone, also has a job and has to do all those things. That's tanzanite. That's what you look like inside. Topaz. Topaz is a beautiful gemstone. Look at it. Look at the things that you feel. Think of those of you who are somebody right now in the audience is saying, wow, because that gemstone resonates with you. There's something about it that speaks to you. And it's more than just the color. It has to be. There's so many gemstones that come in that orange, beautiful orange-like color. But for those of you who are born in November, that's your gemstone. It resonates with you or who you are. Sapphire, not just a sapphire, but a star sapphire, which means that you have, let's get back down to the science. You have aluminum oxide. That's the basic structure. In that aluminum oxide, you had iron, a combination of iron and titanium in different percentages that give you that color. And then still within that, you have fibers. You have fibers that line in such a symmetry that when you pass light over it, that's what you get. Let's make that analogy to people. Here you have a human being who happens to be a female. She decided to go back to school. She decided to read some books. She decided to take her mother, her father, her grandfather's recipe or love of fixing cars, and she decided to do that, or she decided to open up a business in whatever industry that touches her heart. And when you shine light on her, when people start to see who she is, that's what you get. That's a sapphire, a star sapphire. Here's emerald. Here's emerald. I love emeralds because emeralds have something inside of them, something called inclusion, something that's not supposed to be there. Emeralds have gone through a molecular stresses that causes that to happen. Look at this big this is big inclusion right here to the right. Look at these little inclusions. These are gemstones. These are signatures. These are almost tattoos that has let the person know, the lapidary know what that emerald has gone through. Emeralds are almost never not included, meaning that emeralds have gone through something to become something beautiful, something breathtaking. And even though emeralds are brittle, they can break if you hit. That's why you got the emerald cut. How many of you are like that? How many of you have gone through, come on, ladies, men too, men too. How many men have gone through pain? And yet that's not what you see. That's not what you see when you see them. You don't see the inclusions inside. You just see the beautiful gemstone that he or she has become. You can use that power. It's a power. When I began to study gemstones, the thing that got me wasn't just the gemstone itself. It was more of what people did to get it, what it was made out of, what did it have to go through to get to where it is today. You can use that knowledge. You can embody that in yourself. This is a sapphire. Most of you know when you say sapphire, this is what you think of. You say, this is a sapphire. My baby got me this sapphire. And those of you born in September, you're sitting there right now. Yes, that's my gemstone. But guess what? There's only one way. There's not just one way to manifest a sapphire. This also is a sapphire. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. A gray sapphire. A gray sapphire, which means that not only is it aluminum oxide, which is the exact same chemical composition, of a ruby. This is nowhere near the red of a ruby, but it's the exact same chemical composition. The only difference is that it has something in it. It has something in it that gives it that color. That's you. That's you. Gemstones has taught me that there's 8 billion people on the planet, 8 billion people on the planet, and yet there's only one you. Somebody watching this show right now manifests and understands that they are a gray sapphire, that they have something inside of them that makes them different. They're not a ruby. They're not a blue sapphire. They are a gray sapphire. And when you begin to embody that, oh, wow. You begin to understand your value. And let's take it back. When you understand the power of stories, this gray sapphire has a meaning. It does things on a metaphysical level. And how did you get to understand it? You learned it from me on this show. Thank you. Or you've learned it from somewhere, your mother, your father, your uncle, somebody told you, you read a book, you saw a television show, and you realize, wow, I didn't know that sapphires came in a gray color. And because of what you heard somewhere, read somewhere, saw somewhere, you believe it. And for the rest of your life, unless someone tells you something different that is more, that resonates with you in a better way, that's what you believe. Why can't you do that for yourself? This is, I'm just going to let you sit here for a second. Think about that song. It's brown, it has some kind of shape to it. Got marks and stuff. It's just a rock, right? You look at it, oh, okay, cool. But you know what this is? This is a chocolate diamond. Yes, this is a chocolate diamond. This is what a chocolate, those of you who went to Levion, the purveyors of chocolate diamonds, this is what it looks like. This is a chocolate diamond. So here you're talking about something that has existed for millions, maybe 1 billion years, have gone through all kinds of tremendous heat and pressure. It had to be dug up. It had to be, diamonds are found, 90 to 200 miles in the earth? Surrounded by just rock. And here, somewhere in there, not only did you find the carbon and put in such a way that it came together, but also has something in it that gave it that color. And when I say something, I'm not talking about I'm talking about trace amounts. Trace amounts of iron or manganese or boron or nitrogen, whatever the color is, whatever that thing is inside of that carbon, a basic element in the periodic table, basic. And yet that's when it manifests. Why can't that be you? If there is a power in stories, if someone can believe 400 or 500, according to the commercials, the Levion family has existed from the 1600s. So if you believe that commercial from 400 or 500 years later, if you believe in that commercial and you say that, okay, there was a Levion family, of course, Levion, they're Francais, okay? If you believe that 500 years ago, later, why can't you believe that this is what you used to be? This is what you were told that you were as a kid, as an adult, not by not just friends or friends, but not by just people, by your family, by your mother, your father, kids at school. This is what you were told. You're just a chocolate diamond. You're just a rock. You're just, you're too this, you're too that, you're too this. People, we bullying is a huge thing in the school system where kids people bully each other. And they were told that this is who they are. Ugly, short, fat, misshapen. But when you understand that this is who you are, this is who you really are. Well, not because it just became magical, because you did the work. You did the work to develop yourself. We talked about this. The 4 C's cut. You developed who you were, who you wanted to be. So you took this. This is you. This is you, all your friends, your family, just a whole bunch of brownstones just hanging around. Hey, what are you doing, Barry? Just hanging out, just chilling. This is who you were. Nobody knew. They were like, oh, well, okay, that's nice. Okay, good luck. They didn't know that you was going to become this. And live on. They didn't know. They didn't know what you would be, what you would look like once you developed yourself, and then you put yourself in a different setting. Hello, that's all this is. The golden, it's a different setting. Those of you who are thinking about starting new jobs, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for what kind of gemstone you are and how would you resonate in a different environment, in a different setting. Turquoise. A gemstone that is found all over the world, not just 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, since 2000 BC. The Egyptians, I'm talking about Cleopatra and all her friends. Well, she didn't dug it, but all her servants, slaves. That's what they were looking for. Alexander the Great, when he conquered all that, what was he looking for? He was looking for this. Iran, Iraq, turquoise. Afghanistan, turquoise. So how is it that something that looks like this can not only resonate in Afghanistan, but can also resonate for those of you who've been to Arizona, turquoise. Those of you who've been in the Central America or South America, Brazil, turquoise. Africa, Madagascar, turquoise. So if you took that same concept and apply it to yourself, where would you be? So that's why I entitled today's show, Appreciating the Gemstone That You Have Chosen to Be. Chosen to be. See, because the difference, the beautiful difference, once you understand what a gemstone is, it's so much more than just something you wear. It has to be. There is nothing, think about it. There is nothing that we have on earth that we value more consistently than gemstones. We don't value air. We don't value water. I mean, there's evidence of that. We don't value necessarily each other. Lots of times we don't value ourselves. But when you go anywhere in the world and I said ruby, whether I don't even have to speak the language, if I say ruby or some variation of that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Diamond, pearl, topaz, sunstone, garnet. So if that is how you feel, whatever gemstone you love, if you can appreciate what that gemstone is because someone told you a story, then the same dynamics have to exist for you. The same dynamics has to exist from you. And what it is you have to believe it in yourself. You have to believe what it is yourself, and then the transformation begins. So altered has his mind become that the workshop can no longer hold. So let's look about garnet. Let's talk about garnet. This is January. Let's talk about garnet. Most people, I never really I never really appreciated garnet. Garnet is this birthstone for January. And if you ask a lot of people born in January, they'll tell you maybe, I don't know, 80%. 80% of the people I've talked to in the 20 years I've been doing this, when you talk about garnet, it's like, okay, yeah, garnet's nice. Yeah. Most people think about garnet as this red stone. That's what they think about. But garnet comes in different varieties. There's 7. In fact, garnet is not even a gemstone. Garnet is a group. It's a group of gemstones that have similar structures. There's about 5 or 6 different structures that garnet can have. And they have similar chemical composition. Similar. And each have, even though they're very much alike, like half brothers or cousins, nieces, just they're similar. They're in the same group, the same family. Each one is different. Each one is unique in their own way. And just because you may not know these 6 types of gem species of garnet doesn't mean they don't exist. Same thing goes for you. Just because your name is not written in like Taylor Swift doesn't mean whoever you are doesn't resonate. Maybe not with the whole world, but with your wife, with your husband, your kids, your kids at school, the customers that you take care of. For them, you are that. This is what most people think about when they think about garnet. They think of it, and it's a beautiful stone, but it's not a ruby. Oh, you all right. You're red, but you're not a ruby. But garnet is an incredible gemstone. Incredible. Garnet has, think about it. Let's just get right down to the science of it, right? Here we go. Garnet is a red pyrope garnet. Has a reddish color. This is the garnet. This and almandine, I'll show you the next one, is what most people think about when they get garnet. Look at the chemical composition. You got magnesium, aluminum, silicate. That's what it is. That's what it is, basically. Mg, magnesium, aluminum, silicate. The refractive index is meaning how does it interact with the light? 1.72 to 1.57. Don't think about the numbers. Just look at the basic number. But what this stone means is that this is a stone of emotional healing, a stone of self-worth, of walking the spiritual path. This is what this stone means. Not just because I said it, because for thousands of years, this is what was believed. A story. Some of you who are January is your month that you were born and your birthstone is garnet, you're looking at right now, you're saying, wow, I didn't know that. You're going to look in your jewelry case and you have garnet stones because someone gave you garnet and you just happen to have a pyrope garnet. You're going to look at it a different way. Why can't that be you? Why can't that same process be you, not just the way people see, but the way you see yourself? The value comes in understanding what it is that makes it different. The hardness of a garnet is 7 to 7.5, 7.5. Garnet actually is the official gemstone of my state and several states, but the official gemstone is in New York. The official gemstone for New York, the state is garnet. This is it. This is a different one. Here's one. Here's pyro. Here's something in the same family, just a little bit more red, a little more violet tones. There you go. Almandine, ammonite. Again, same pretty similar molecular structure. Instead of magnesium, you have what? Iron. Okay, you didn't go to State University of New York. You didn't go to State University. You went to a community college. You went to Ohio State. You went to Michigan. You went somewhere else. And you studied whatever you studied. No, you didn't go to the Cordon Bleu in France to study cooking. You went down to the school at the local community center. Doesn't mean that you're not a chef. doesn't mean that your love of food is not as profound as people who go to fancy schools in Switzerland and France and Germany. You're a garnet, except instead of saying garnet, you're a chef. And the only difference between you, Pyro, your cousin, your friend, your colleague who went to whatever school, and they got manganese in them, you have iron. You have iron. Iron, aluminum, silicate. The way you hit the light is a little bit different. 1.70 to 1.820. But look at the difference. That one element, now it gives it strength, security. Wow. So when you wear that, that's what it symbolizes. Someone would give you that gemstone. Someone might receive this gemstone as a gift, as a present, as a symbol of thank you. Thank you for the strength that you have given me. You shared with me. Thank you for the security that I feel being with you in this relationship, in this business. And the profound thing is that this is something, a belief, a story that has existed for hundreds of years. Why not you? I want you to think about that, and I'll see you on the other side. Think about what that ad just said. 5 different things. Love yourself, exercise, move, eat better. You're deciding what kind of gemstone that you want to be. You have chosen a gemstone that represents strength and security because that's who you are. Imagine being embodied in that, believing that about yourself, and you're a nurse and you're a police officer. You're a mom. You're a dad. Strength and security. That's what you're offering because that's the gemstone that you have decided to be. Yeah, you're a garnet. And people may look at you, yeah, okay. Garnet, January. It's not a ruby. It's not a red diamond. In gemstone gemology, I crack up when people say, "Oh, is that a precious or semi-precious stone?" Really? Really? When you understand what it does? You know what garnet actually is used for other than jewelry? 90% of garnet is used as an abrasive. Yeah, it's used as an abrasive. Lots of sandpaper and the drills. In fact, the garnet is what they use to cut steel. They have garnet infused knives and drills that go through steel and metal. So what type of business do you need to have? What kind of business, or what if you were in a business that needed that type of strength? You're a teacher. You're a teacher. And you embody garnet. Almandine garnet. Garnet. Yes, this is garnet. Some of you have never seen this variety of garnet. Spiritite. Orange to reddish brown. Basically the same chemical composition, except instead of magnesium or iron, you have manganese. Same, just the basic structure, and yet you put something different in it. You decided to do Duolingo and je parle français. Je comprends français, de lire français, je suis français. You put something in who you are to become something different. You made that decision. In the commercial, you had the woman on the board, the sailboard, or whatever they call them now. And she decided to go out in the water and do yoga on that board, which would require her to have even more balance, not to fall in. She made that choice to become the gemstone that she is. Different, all right, how it interacts with the light, because that's all refractive index. That's what RI means. How does the light go through this gemstone? How does it radiate? Or what angle? How does it break up the light? And it breaks up the light in such a way that it manifests as an orange color. Let's make the analogy. Let's make the bridge. You've decided to go for that promotion. You decided that of the people that you work with, you know that your leadership skills and who you are is perfectly situated, as far as you're concerned, for that job. This is what you do. This is not a hobby. This is not just something you do. Imagine people being empowered with that. Imagine here it is, the last day of the first month of the brand new year, and you said to yourself at some point in time, I'm going to be a Spepartine. Spepartite. Sometimes the words are hard to say. Sorry. But that's what you decided. You've chosen to be that. And once you choose to be that, you have to appreciate it. Appreciate the decision that you made. We talked about for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've been talking about identifying whether or not you are a gemstone. We went through that. Then I talked about the 4 C's and the things that qualify you as a gemstone. Rarity, beauty, durability, desirability. Those are the things, and you pass that test. Now you have to decide, what kind of gemstone are you? And then once you make that decision, appreciate the fact that if this is you, that your thing is you exude creativity, sexuality. Your whole concept is just, you ever see people who just look, oh my God, and they're just standing there. We ever see a shoe or a piece of jewelry that you just look at and you go, a car, you just go, wow. And it's just standing still because the person who made it, the new movie is out, Ferrari, when Mr. Ferrari decided to make his cars, he wanted to make his cars a work of art. He decided that that's what he was going to do. He wanted to create something that when people looked at his Ferrari, his artwork, they were like, that's a Ferrari. Nobody ever thinks about a Ferrari moving at 2, 3, 5 miles an hour. I'm going as fast as I can. It's a Ferrari. And the consciousness of that started in the factory. The consciousness started in Mr. Ferrari's head. What you see is the manifestation of that consciousness. That's what you look at when you see a gemstone. Someone had to see that. Someone had to see that when it was in its rough form, and they saw it. Here's another one. This is still the same garnet. This is the same. That's the thing that blows my mind. And please send me a quote, send me a comment and anything. It just blows my mind. This is just one gemstone. All these charts that I have, these are all the different manifestations of gemstones. So this is the garnet. You know that same garnet, that same little funky garnet, red stone that you thought that was your birthstone? No. But this is the garnet too. This is the garnet too. Grossite. Yellow, brown. Again. Oh man, there's no magnesium in it. There's no manganese in it. There's no iron in it. No, it has calcium. You know, the same calcium that makes you strong when you drink milk. That calcium, when you put that into aluminum silicate, it becomes this color. It becomes this color. Wow. You decided to stop drinking Mountain Dew. I'm sorry. I used to drink Mountain Dew like it was just that green. I don't know what it was about Mountain Dew, but I realized that Mountain Dew going inside of me wasn't working. It wasn't working. And this is not to put, I don't want to be sued by Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is delicious, but if you want to lose weight, if you're 63 years old and you don't want to get diabetes and things like this, then you don't drink Mountain Dew anymore because it doesn't work. If you want to be a grocerite, then you got to put magnesium in you to manifest this color. If you want a gemstone that talks about prosperity and health, hello. See? You see, and you know, guys, none of this is scripted. I don't have a script somewhere and looking around. This is from here. I was talking about not drinking Mountain Dew anymore because the sugar in that can doesn't allow me to manifest who I want to be at 63 years old. So if you had aluminum silicate and you put calcium in it, milk, cheese, spinach, and you start putting that in your body, then that's going to help you manifest prosperity, health. You're going to feel better, not just externally, you're going to feel better inside of yourself. You're going to feel more passionate about what you do. People are going to see that. You're going to wake up in the morning like those old Sealy Possibility commercials where you're just like, oh, you're like ready for the day. You have control of that. This gemstone just happened to be in a place where there was calcium, aluminum, and silicon oxide together in such a way that it manifests this. And then it still had to be cut. It still had to be polished. It still had to be treated in some kind of way. But all those things allow that gemstone, that lapidary, that diamantaire with a diamond to manifest. You can use that in your life. You can make that analogy because what is it? Basically, it's a story. It's a story. Right now, I'm telling you a story that this grocerite that's been around for thousands of years, you may not know about it, but for thousands of years, this gemstone has existed in a yellow, green, yellow, or brown variety. These are the chemical composition of it and what it means for a lot of cultures. It means health and prosperity. You ever notice, and you know what I'm saying is true, especially people, ladies who get into, I have so many friends who get into numerology and astrology. And when they say, they will tell you, oh, well, 2 and 6, that means you're an 8. Oh, that's a good number. Or 3 and 7, or let's see, 1, well, it's the 9 and a 2 and and just put it together. And when they say it to you, they say with almost absolute certainty, absolute belief, oh, you're going to make money this year because your numbers, this is your year. And they believe it because of the numbers. So, and I've gotten to the point where I used to say, I don't believe it. But so many things has happened to me in my life and those people who believe in that have told me those things to the point you can't deny it anymore. So what I'm saying is not hocus pocus. It's just a different way of understanding. It's a different way of putting that story together. I'm not saying it's the way, but if you're going through things in your life, if you're having a hard time just dealing with the dishes, your job, your bills, and things that have you, and so perhaps gemstones, perhaps understanding how gemstones manifest, how they become, can help you, can maybe make you think differently. Here's another one. Obviously not red. Wow, it's not red. Look at all the inclusions. Oh my God, take a look at all the inclusions this gemstone has. This variety, this species of gemstones, how does that relate to you? Think about the people watching this show who you know you've gone through some stuff in your life. You know you've gone through, deaths in the family, financial situations, divorce, health issues, job, unhappiness. We live in a world there's so much mental health problems, mental health challenges. People are hurt in so many different ways. They're angry, they're mad, they're disappointed. They've been told that they can drink this or eat this forever, and now you find out, oh well, you have cancer because you've been eating hot dogs all day long. What? Nobody told me that. Nobody told me that. Those are the inclusions, and yet there's still people smoking. And then yet there's still people that somehow, despite all the abuse and despite that, I think about the woman who I don't like to get into politics, but E. Jean Carroll. That woman's 80 years old. She doesn't look 80. She doesn't look. I'm like 80, 80. Man, I want to look like that at 80 years old. Let's not talk about what happened. Let's just look at the person. 80 years. And I found out who she was and all the things that she did in the writing. And she's from New York. I'm from New York. And I remember kind of brief, but it wasn't until I understood who she was. I was like, wow, she's awesome. She's awesome. Erudite. Black, yellow, brown, yellow. Same again. The only difference is now you got the calcium. But now instead of aluminum, now you got iron. Look at the number, the RI, how it reacts with the light. RI 1.88 to 1.94, which means that it has more scintillation. It's bright. It's closer to what a diamond is. A diamond is 2.34. So it has that reaction. That's the way it reacts to the light. Grounding, protection, knowledge, creative power. If that's what you are looking for in your life this year, 2024, that's what you've decided that you wanted to be. Okay. What do you have to do to manifest that? See, gemstones are unlike, if gemstones could speak, gemstones would want to be humans. They'd want to be humans. They appreciate the fact that we all love gemstones since the beginning of time. But if you really talk to Andrew, they would be like, I mean, I'm yellow and brown and stuff, but I can't be anything else. This is all I can be. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's not, in fact, let me do that again. It's not that, oh, this is all I can be. This is who I am. There's a difference in the consciousness. This yellow gemstone is not jealous of yellow sapphire. It's not jealous of heliodor, which is a yellow beryl, like in the same family as emerald. It's not. It knows what it is and understands the power that it brings, grounding, protection, knowledge. It has knowledge of self. Yeah, it has to. How do you explain people believing in this gemstone? How do you understand? Forget about what I'm saying. How can I say this in January 31st, 2024, something that has existed for hundreds and thousands of years, this belief in this? Go look it up yourself. Look up what this gemstone is. Garnet. Look at what yellow garnets look like. And what is the meaning of it on a metaphysical level, and you get some version of this. So how is it that we as human beings can believe this for hundreds of thousands of years, but yet you believe that your boss, your family, your husband, your wife can't believe who you are? How you can't believe what the gifts that you bring to the world? Also, it works for gemstone that it has 4 elements, but it doesn't work for you, and you have hundreds and thousands of elements inside of you, really? And you can change what you want to put in it to create what you want to be. Yeah, you have the same molecular structure as me. We are both humans. Well, at least I play human when I'm here, but we are both human. I happen to be male. You happen to be either female or male. You identify as female or male. And the differences between you and me is what we've put inside of ourselves. So our species, we are part of the human being group. And in the human being group, there is a variety called the Barry B Mixon variety. And there's a variety called the fill in the blank, your name. And depending on how did you eat, did you exercise, what schools did you go to, what was your life like with your parents, do you have friends, where do you work, what job, all those things come together to manifest, voila. Here it is. Here it is. Look at it. Not red. Not red. Not a red. This is a garnet. This is a beautiful garnet. Look at it. Uverite. Uverite. Rare. Very rare. Very rare. Even more rare. Calcium again. Oh. But this one has, instead of calcium, it has chromium in it. Where have we heard that before, family? Gem Hunter family? Oh, I know. You mean the same chromium that's in aluminum oxide that makes a ruby red? You mean the same chromium that you put inside magnesium beryllium, aluminum silicate? You mean that makes an emerald green? That chromium? That chromium in this structure creates that gemstone, 1.87. Overcoming poverty consciousness. Wow. This not only is it green like money, but this gemstone, if I put this gemstone on my finger, on my ears, in my neck, on my neck, that this gemstone would help me on a spiritual level overcome poverty consciousness. Not being poor, but always thinking that you're poor, always thinking that you have lack. There's your evidence that it's possible. And it's possible because somebody believed this. Did they have a committee? That's the thing that always gets me. How did they get to understanding what that gemstone does? How do people who are into numerology get to understand that 8 means this, that 7 means this, that 3 means this? 4 in Asian cultures is a terrible number. 4, they don't like the number 4. And there's whole spiritual levels to that. And everybody just says, yeah, 4. Oh, no, I don't want 4. Just like here in the United States, we don't really have, some hotels don't have a 13th floor. In Asia, they don't have a 4 number. It's either 4 or 5. I think it's 4. Yeah. They believe it. You can use that. You can use that understanding to manifest yourself today. Starting the next 11 months in one day, that's what you can do. You can take that story that you believe, that you want to believe about yourself. You can take the story and all the steps that you need to do, or figure out what you need to do to get to producing the gemstone that you are. Thank you, Barbara. So what I want you to do is think about what I said today. Think about how I've taken a gemstone that most of y'all just think that it was a red stone, and see all the different, there's a whole bunch of more varieties, and those are just the basic species. But think about all the different percentages of that, those elements, the calcium, the manganese, the magnesium, the iron, in different percentages. And then from that, manifest in a different way. Isn't that you? Isn't that who you are? Isn't that who all of us are? We are manifestations of the things that we put inside of us, not just inside of our bodies physically, but inside of our spirits, inside of our minds, mentally and spiritually. And that's your homework today. Ask yourself, what are you putting inside of yourself, inside of your mind, that is manifest, and how those things that you put in your side of your mind are manifesting to other people. How are other people seeing the way you interact with the light? So I hope you got something out of this week's episode. I look forward to next week's episode. And as always, my name is Barry B. Mixon. I am a Gemmological Storyteller. And my greatest wish in my life is to help people discover the value of their own stories. So until next week, au revoir, à te tella, voilà.